Felting and fulling methods. Is it really that important which ones you choose? I mean, in the end they all produce felt, right? Well, yes, that's right, they all produce felt. But actually they produce different results. So it's wise to think about which felting and fulling methods you want to use according to your project and your goals for that project. In order for you to understand what I mean, I'd like to illustrate this with an example. So I'll be felting two samples, both with the same materials, but I'll be using different fulling methods on each one of them. This way, in the end, we'll be able to have a look at the results and compare both samples to see what happens to your felt according to the fulling methods you use. The best way for you to learn something with this is not only to watch the video, but to follow the video by making your samples with me. So I've prepared the fiber for my two samples. Both have exactly the same amounts of merino wool and viscose. The only difference here is in color, so that I don't get them mixed up, and I'm then able to compare them at the end. So I've laid out the merino with a classic layout, so in two layers, crisscrossed, and then there's a cloud layout on top of the merino wool, which is viscose, and the same is on this side. So exact same amounts of wool, exact same fiber types. The only difference here is in color. And I will be felting one with pretty aggressive methods and felting the other with very soft methods. And then in the end, we'll be able to compare the two. So let's do this. So let's start by adding water and soap. There are different ways to do this. I'd like to remind you that I very rarely use hot water when I'm felting. So this is room temperature water, which is very important especially when you're felting with viscose. So here it is. I've added my water and my soap. I'm just going to fold this over. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to roll with this on top of my fiber so that I don't rub with my hands directly on the viscose. And the reason why I avoid rubbing with my hands directly on the viscose is because it creates that situation in which the wool eats up the embellishment fiber. So to avoid that, you can either felt from the back or use something like this. Avoid moving your hands directly on the viscose. Okay, so I've turned it over, and now the merino is on top. So you could massage with your hand directly on this side. If you prefer massaging, then do it from this side and not from the side of the viscose fiber. And of course, I'm massaging along the direction of my layout so that I don't displace the fibers. So this is the first thing to do. We want to pre-felt our fibers before we do anything else, and for that I recommend either massaging from the back or using something like this if you're working from the front. Again, the reason I'm doing this is so that we don't have the wool eating up the embellishment fiber, which in this case is viscose, but you could be doing this with silk fiber, with tencel, or this would also work in the exact same way if you were to be Nuno felting. So if you were to use fabric instead of the viscose fiber. All right, and I'm just going to go on like this, and for now I'm just rubbing in the direction of the layout so that I don't displace the fiber, but in a while I'm going to rub like this as well, because I'm only getting shrinkage in this direction, all right? So as soon as it's a little bit starting to pre-felt a little bit, you can then invert the direction of your rubbing. All right. All right, and now I'm going to go to flip this again, and I'll roll like this on the side of the viscose for a while. Okay, so I'll go on like that, and when this is a bit more advanced, I will come back to you. So my felt is already looking pretty good, and I would now like to start doing some rolling, which is also a very soft way of felting and fulling. What I haven't referred at the beginning of the video is that you could have also had used a sander to get to this phase. Okay, that's another alternative which works very, very well for this type of project. So I am going to close this, and I'm going to start rolling. Again, for this type of project where you're working with embellishment fibers, you need to use soft and non-aggressive felting and fulling methods. Okay, so I will go on like this for a while. Remember to change the direction you're rolling in. And I'll go on like this until I have a more solid pre-felt. Alright, so I've been rolling and I have a nice pre-felt which I can already hold in my hands, so it's going well. Let me just show you the shrinkage. So I have gotten some nice shrinkage already, as you can see. That means I can now start rolling it tighter. So I'll take this away and I am going to roll. You could do this with a nice piece of thick cotton fabric, for example, but I have this rubber mat which works pretty well for this type of project. So I'm going to use my rubber mat, and I'm just going to make a little core like this, and I'm going to roll it up and roll it tighter, because if you roll it tighter it helps with the shrinkage. All right, so I'm going to go on like this, and if you feel like you need to add some water or some soap, you can do it at any time. And I'm going to show you how much quicker the shrinkage is if you roll it tighter like this. So again, this is a nice soft fulling method. It isn't too aggressive. Can you see how I got instant shrinkage on this side? It looks much more like a rectangle than a square. Okay, and I'm going to go on like this. So I'll make a small core just to start the roll. And the more it shrinks, the tighter you can make it. Because if your roll is tighter, the shrinkage will be stronger. There you go. And if you're noticing that the corners are pulling out, you can pull them in like this. And notice that I'm rubbing on the side of the wool, not on the side of the viscose. We'll roll it diagonally as well in a while, just to get rid of these awful pointy bits. See? It's incredible how quick the shrinkage is when you roll like this. But of course you can't start like this at the beginning, because if the fibers are very loose, you end up having tons of wrinkles on the fiber. So that's why you shouldn't start with such a tight roll. All right. I'm going to pull this back into a square shape because it's more like a rectangle at the moment. I don't want to roll it too much either. I want it to be a soft felt, so I don't want to go on rolling for very long. And now I'm going to do some diagonals. And watch how the pointy bits disappear. Okay, now this is probably enough. Let me just make sure that my felt is ready. It looks ready and nothing is lifting anymore. So my felt is ready. And I'm going to rinse it, iron it, and we can start doing the other one. So here is my first sample. So this is the template I used. This way you can see how much shrinkage happened. It is about, I think, slightly more than 1/3. Actually, I think it's 40%. I did measure it, so it's 40%. That's important, but that's not the most important thing I want to show you. First of all is look at how soft and malleable this piece is. It's super even, it's fully felted, and what I really want to show you is how much sheen is still on the surface. We do have a little bit of fiber migration, which is normal. So the wool fiber always penetrates through the viscose, otherwise it wouldn't be able to grab the viscose, because as you know, viscose doesn't felt, only wool does. But even though there was some fiber migration, as you can see, there is a beautiful sheen from the viscose on the surface. So this is possible because we have used gentle felting and fulling methods, and so the viscose retains its sheen. So the fiber migration that happened is the fiber migration that needs to happen, but it hasn't eaten up the surface fiber. So again, here is our piece. We're going to work on the second sample next week because the video is already pretty long, so I don't want to overwhelm you with information. I hope you're also taking the opportunity to experiment and do the same for yourself at home, so that you can really see what happens to the felt, not only look at my experiment on video. And so we're going to come back next week to do the second sample. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. And if you'd like to know more about felting and fulling methods and when to use each one of them, there is a link for a PDF to download under this video. That's all for today, and I hope to see you again next week. Thank you for watching.